to make a couple of comments about that, Khadija.
Okay, so let us get started. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in different parts of the world. This is Krishna Vitula from India, representing IUC, IFEES, GEDC. Thank you all for joining us. We have an exciting session, which is going to be very interactive, so be prepared to ask questions and comments and join in the discussion. This is a webinar on which is going beyond the books. Some of you are familiar with the series of books that we've had, Rising to the Top book series that IFEES and GEDC has created and has published. So we're going beyond the books. So these webinars, monthly webinars, is a space for all authors and women engineers to unite and discuss their personal journeys and experiences together. So today we have two of these authors with us, and just briefly let me introduce the one of them so that she can take it over from me and carry on this session. Good friend, this is Khairia, who is she's in volume 1 from Malaysia, and she has, let me see, she's director of the Center for Engineering Education in University Technology, Malaysia. She's also the president of the Society for Engineering Education in Malaysia and the recipient of the 2018 Duncan Fraser IFEES Global Engineering Education Award. I could go on and on and on. She's a passionate expert in the field of teaching and learning, particularly problem-based and project-based learning, well known for her work, for her research, and has conducted workshops and given talks on this topic for many, many years. So thank you, Khairia, for joining us, and I will hand this over to you now. Okay, take over the session. Thank you, Khairia.
Thank you very much, Krishna. Appreciate the nice introduction. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm so glad to have our honorable guest. This is the first time I've met Professor Ghada. It's Ghada Amir, right? So she's from Egypt. She's an electrical engineer, and well, but you're born in Bahrain and you were raised in Kuwait. So that's really interesting. So you're all over the Middle East. Actually, when I was reading about your chapter, I couldn't help but become more and more amazed at all the achievements that you've had, even ever since you were in school. There's so many achievements, like she became the national chess champion at the age of 14 in Kuwait, right? So, and she has, well, why don't I let you introduce yourself, because there's so much that should be highlighted, and I think you'll be the best to choose which part you think would be worth highlighting.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's my honor to be with you all today, and it's something amazing that you meet ladies from all the world, especially Professor Khairia, that she's making a great achievement in this very difficult field, not because it's difficult, because the mentality of people about this field, they think it's difficult. About me, I am Ghada Amir. I born in Bahrain, as Professor Khairia mentioned, and I raised up in Kuwait. And now I moved to Egypt. I live in Egypt now. I love the engineering from the beginning. Yani from when I was young, I loved this field because my father and my family, and this is very important, they always mention that you should take care about your mind. And the good thing is to take care about your mind is working in the field of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And they always mention to me that it's not difficult. It's the most suitable field for you that you go for this field, because it's make you thinking, make you deal with your other colleagues with your mind. Yani even my mother always mentioned something I always mention also to my young students. She always tell me that she believes that if you're beautiful, or if you have some beauty, the beauty is good, but you have a good soul, and good mind is more important. And the most anti-aging secret in the world, that use your mind. And to use your mind, you have to apply in something, intellect and the gifts that God give it to you. And to find this gift, you have to go for these fields. So from the beginning, I always believe in this. يعني when I came here in Egypt and joined my colleagues and the Faculty of Engineering in Banha University, I was the first female in this field and in the class also. So it was challenging me, and also it gave me let me do more efforts to prove myself. Then I go for volunteer works. Even the volunteer works was in science and technology field, and I joined Arab Science and Technology Foundation from in the past 10 years. And this was amazing journey for me, because it changed my mind toward the importance of using science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and also research toward help all communities around the world. So it was an amazing journey, but the journey starting from the family. The family was supporting me too much, and also my mind and my mentality with background that they immersed in my mind from my family, that the engineering field is very important, and also will give me all what I need in the life, will give me the position, will give me the field that I help the community. Also, it's give me a role model that the ladies have another thing than to marry and sit home. It's married and sit home, it's very important. But the good thing that you leave something, help people in the future.
That is really a noble intention. You know, I can see that you're involved with so many community works, and it's just amazing. You know, we should have another 2 panelists today. Our colleague from Myanmar, Khin Sunda, and also Kasturi Shah. Unfortunately, they are not able to make it. Our colleague from Myanmar has some difficulties because of the change in government. And Kasturi, unfortunately, is not feeling well, and she's not able to speak today. So, well, Professor Gada is actually in the volume 4 of our Rising to the Top book series. This is the first one. So I wrote the chapter in the first one. There's another global one. The third one is from India, and Professor Gada, you're in the series of Women in Engineering from Africa. So now we are working on the series from Southeast Asia, and there should be another one, I think. I forgot which.
Arab and the Middle East, yeah.
Yes, in the Middle East. Yes. So that would be very interesting. Well, you know, it's really interesting, because when you say that eternal beauty comes from the mind, that was something that is really striking to me when I read your chapter. And I think it's so important to celebrate the mind, because you know, I don't know, but because as Muslims we keep when we read the Quran, you know, Allah keeps saying, you know, for those who think.
Yes,
so I think this is ingrained. Even when I was small, I was like, okay, I have to think. So I don't know about you.
Yes.
So you know, perhaps you can read a page out of your chapter.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
We'd like to hear
if you give me the permission, or give me the option, which questions in my chapter I love to read for the other ladies in this field, it will be about my mother, because my mother is like amazing story. Herself was amazing story, because she's fighting to not only to go for a very difficult field in physics, but also to learn, because she is the first lady in her village to study a secondary school and go to college for physics. And this is not something useful in this day now, in her days. So I will read this page, because I always feel that she's lightening my life. Yani she's give me the light that I can always follow. And when I feel tired, or feel something with all these technologies around me, I say, oh, my mother do a lot of things without all these facility or technology or transportation. So I have to continue. So, okay. So my mother was the first woman. This is in my page 115 in my chapter in the book. rising to the top for Africa. I wrote, my mother was the first woman in her village to complete secondary school and the first woman to get university degree. Even thought she had to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and travel more than 100 kilometers to go to her class. She did this because she truly believed in the power of education and its ability to lead her life and her family life to be better. And this very important point. If you need to lead your family and your kids to the better life, I believe science, technology, engineering, mathematics, it will be, even if you didn't work with this field, even when you communicate with kids with this mentality of critical thinking or with the mentality that the mathematics or the physics give it to you, you will lead your family to another direction, not the direction that always love to just to buy things or to go for parties. No, they always feel that have this responsibility for the community, do something good. So I will complete. She's been an incredible role model for me and for her colleagues also. My mother believed in nurturing the mind as well as the soul. Always remind me that what I looked like from outside was not nearly as important as inner beauty. She said the beauty of God's soul never fades, and she was right. These days, I continue to share this message with my students, female especially. I told them, do you know the greatest anti-aging secret in the world? Your mind. Apply your intellect, your gifts to help others and to help people. This will keep you always young and help you to be beautiful forever. Whatever your age, you will not feel that you need to make surgery or to do something like that, because you always trust your mind, not your face. And everything will change, but your mind with time will not be aging. If you read or work in the same field, your mind be more and more powerful. So it will be perfect.
That's really amazing. I mean, the journey that your mother had to go through just to go to school and to go to the university. She must have been a very strong lady.
Yes, true. Yeah, she was strong, but unfortunately she passed away. But she left a good, literacy for all of us and for her students also, because she was teaching the physics and mathematics. So I always proud of her, and I feel she did a great thing. And for that, I insist to do something like her.
MashaAllah, that is very good. I mean, it's unthinkable, like somebody at her time studying physics.
Yeah, very difficult. Yes,
that's really amazing.
Yeah, and in these days, in her days, it was very something, not familiar even for men to go for this field. Her village, it's very far from the university. She have to take donkey to go to the train station, and then go to another bus to go to the college. And it was something horrible for her, but she insists, and subhanallah, she get all support from everyone, know her story, because they feel that she's believe in herself.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so she must have inspired all her children and all her students, I must say so. Yes.
Khairiyya, because of this, we raised in family with 2 daughters, me and my sister. Me and my sister go for the same field. Both of us are engineering. I'm engineering of power electrical engineering, and she's engineering of automatic control, because of my mother. And this is what I mentioned for all the young ladies. If you need to get a strong family, focus in your mind. The money will come, the position will come, everything will come. But focus in your mind, focus to go for this very important field. Especially nowadays with the 4th industrial revolutions, I believe there is a good opportunities for ladies to penetrate this field. This field is very important. And the people around us, even in the factory and the companies, they have a lot of unfilled or vacations or places for anyone who know technology or know the right technology. So I believe it's good opportunity for us. Even it will give us something to work from home, because technology now is giving us these options. So if you need to get a good job and a good salary and also support your family, please enter this field.
So what's the percentage of ladies in engineering in Egypt? What's the percentage of female students in
Look,
engineering?
Khairi, Egypt, like all the countries around the world, we have a good percentage of ladies who study science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They love this, but you will not find them in the leaders. Yani, the number of leaders in this field is not too much because a lot of things. Some of them culture, some of them the lady themselves, some of them mentality of the community. But we have a good amount in my days. It's not too much ladies in this field. Yani when I was in the Faculty of Engineering, I was the only one in my classes. But nowadays we have a big amount. Maybe half of the students now are females, and they are also finished the postgraduate studies, not only finish the college studies or bachelor.
Okay, that's good. I think it's similar in Malaysia because we have about 50% ladies. But it depends. In mechanical, it tends to be less. Mechanical engineering would have around 30+%. But in chemical engineering, like my background is in chemical engineering, it will be about 50%. And so is electrical engineering.
I believe also electrical or communications or computer science, so all the science field, 50%. With mechanical or civil engineering, I believe, as you mentioned, it's around the same thing.
Okay, now my background is slightly different from yours because my parents were teachers.
Wow.
So yes, so I'm very passionate about education because I saw them really giving themselves, doing beyond what is required to help their students to make sure they stay in school and learn. So they were teachers also, just like your parents, just like your mother, because your father was an engineer, right? So for me, like seeing them is so inspiring because you can see their students moving up and making themselves better, having, once they manage to study, focusing like on their mind, like what you said, there's social upward mobility because of that. So it's it's been embedded because I grew up with it. So when I became after my undergraduate studies, I studied in the US, and when I came back, I was offered a scholarship to continue on to become a faculty member to work in the university. Anyway, I got attracted to, although I like the technical part, I also like the education part. So I guess it worked out, even though all the way my PhD is in chemical engineering, I got to teach. So that's, I really became so interested in the education part that I pursued. After my PhD, I pursued research in engineering education also. So there's a little bit of, I went to the education part quite a bit because we started a PhD in engineering education program in my university. So anyway, I will.
Interesting. And Khairia, the good thing that you mentioned now, that you love to teach from the beginning because you're family. And this is the effect of the family. From the beginning, for me, I was not putting in my mind that I will be academic in the field of academia, because I always love to fix my car for my father's car, fix the electricity in the home, even in the anything for fixing anything. I love to work with my hand until now, till today. I love to fix any equipment in home. But when, as you mentioned, get the high degree in the college and I be the alpha of the school, they also offer me to be the faculty member and to complete my PhD and master degree. But the surprising thing for me that I love to be teacher. I love to transfer the knowledge. I do it with love now. This is something always, I think this from the beginning not was my line. Yeah, I always focus in the field. I love to work in the field as engineering. But when I go for the faculty and teach people, I like this something amazing to transfer your knowledge to other people. So this is also because our background is in something in the STEM field. People with the STEM field always need to explain. So when you need to explain, you will be good in education.
Yeah. And I think in my case, because I always wanted to to study until the PhD level, that was The only way I could do that was get a scholarship through the academic line. So that's another reason why I went into academia. But I like teaching anyway. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to read a page from what I wrote.
Yes,
This was actually the start of my realization that teaching can also be scholarly. You know, it's not just in our technical field, but in education, in educating our students. There's also the scholarship of teaching and learning. And this is how I discovered it anyway. I discovered it actually when I was studying for my master's in the US in Clemson University. Okay, so this is how it goes. Now,
okay.
in the discovery phase of engineering education in my journey, my early exposure to scholarly aspects of engineering education was during my graduate studies. I was at Clemson University in the early 1990s. My research was on time optimal control of distillation columns. So I was working with dynamic simulation of a 32-stage methanol water distillation tower with the fastest personal computer in the lab at that time, and it had an 8386 microprocessor.
Wow. It's something.
Yeah, that was the fastest one. I was so proud to get that computer. Anyway, it took 5 hours for the simulation to run for every control structure that I tested. And in between running the simulation, reading and writing for my research, I would go to my favorite shelf in the chemical engineering department library to read a journal called Chemical Engineering Education. So at that time, when I was studying for my master's, there was already a journal called Chemical Engineering Education. I think that was so amazing. Anyway, as I was reading the articles, it dawned on me that there are many chemical engineering professors who are concerned about understanding learners, helping students to learn abstract concepts in the field, and various aspects of curriculum development. The best thing about this was that I realized there were resources that I could refer to in teaching chemical engineering, just like the other technical parts. While working towards my PhD in Canada, I signed up for the Tomorrow's Professors email run by Rick Rees from Stanford University.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have it at that time already. Every week, I look forward to reading the short article that summarizes research on issues related to college education. Looking back, these articles formed my early knowledge in teaching and learning and showed me the importance of taking the scholarly approach in engineering education. So that was how it started.
That's amazing, Irene. That's really amazing. You know, I love it. You know, I believe this is, yani, we need to thank the people, yani, really, yani, the IFEES, GEDC, because they do something amazing to collect all these inspiring stories and put it in the book and they give this role model. Yani, when I read any of our stories, you and other colleagues, you feel something amazing. You feel, you know, that you are living in another world, not the world that they are always mentioned. It's difficult, you cannot do it, don't go for this. Let's talk about also our families. Yani, let me explain or read some of my book when I write about my family and the story of my marriage also, because always people mention that if you go for the STEM field, it's something you will lose your feminist. You will not be like a female. It's something tough, and it's not true. And also they mention that the engineering will not be perfect for women who need to marry and get kids, and this also not true. It's something, yeah, it's option. If you need to go for this and this, it's up to you, but it will not be affected if you can manage your life. So I will read this from my book also. When I get a question like, were you ever encouraged to get married instead of having a job or career? I said no. I was never expected to choose between one or another. But because of my culture background, I was still encouraged to be married. I got married at 21 years old. But it had been difficult to find a suitor because I was highly educated woman with the intention to work in male dominations field. And most of men wanted a woman who would stay at home and take care of the house and the child. Luckily, I found a husband who was not have the same mind and helped me to go for success. And also the other thing that I always mention, because I'm engineering also, I raise 4 kids now. 2 of them are in the engineering field. One of them are communication. He is also faculty member of Cairo University, and he's specialized in satellite. And the other one also engineering in computer science and embedded system. So I believe you can manage if you go for this field, you can manage your life. And also I work in the business. Yani I'm academic in academic field. I'm mother, and also I work in business, and to connect all of these, I always connect the circle. Working in the field, it's reflect on my research university, also reflect in my students. I told them the problem outside and how they can create their own job, not only search for normal job in the government. For my kids, I always talk with them, not about people, about achievement, about the new technologies. So they go for the same field, which I love also.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I have 4 children also.
So that's good.
Okay, let me read about the part of my family, because I wrote about my family in the chapter also. I think we have a lot of things similar. I am thankful for the blessings of God that has given in my life. Although much of what I have described may seem as if everything was smooth sailing, there were various challenges that I faced. I did not start out feeling so confident about what I do. There were always doubts, and I made mistakes. I had to put in a lot of effort to attain the good academic results that I achieved. Believe me, there were a lot of sweat and tears. However, I pushed myself to be consistent and thorough when learning, and I was not afraid to ask when I did not know something, even in a big lecture hall. There were episodes when I cried because of frustration with my research during my graduate studies, but with my husband's encouragement, I chose to go on after taking a break of a day or 2. I was already married when I went for my studies. So I learned that for all the trials and tribulations, there are rewards and achievements waiting. I knew I needed to focus on my goal and be positive about whatever happened and about the effort that I needed to put in. The support of my family has also been very important. My daughter was just 8 months old when I started my studies in Clemson. By the time I was at Waterloo for my PhD, my 2 sons had been born. So we had 3 children while I was pursuing my PhD. There was a lot of sacrifice. Yes, there was a lot of sacrifice on my husband's part. He came with me to Clemson and to Waterloo, where we took turns to look after our children and figure out the best way possible to bring them up within the constraints that we had. So that was it. It was not smooth sailing.
Yes,
but,
of course.
Yes, but because like what you said, we worked together as a family, and you know, mashallah, Allah helped us. So
yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Khairia, do you get mention to us one of the accident or something that you remember or challenges that you faces when you was working in this field or during your study as a female?
Actually, there was, even in Malaysia, I was studying in a girls' school.
Okay.
So there were no, yeah, so I didn't experience any gender bias because it was a girls' school. There were male teachers, but the male teachers were teaching all girls. So, you know, there was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had male and female teachers teaching me science and mathematics. So I have always had this in mind that, oh, it doesn't matter. Science and mathematics can be done by both girls and boys. There was never, there was never any doubt in my mind that anybody could do it, you know, if you put your efforts to it. So when I went to university, when I studied in the US, I didn't realize that there was a small number of girls, because there were the Malaysian students with scholarships studying engineering, and there was a lot of girls. So
that's good. That's amazing. That's good.
Yes,
so
I
that's
was surrounded by other girls from Malaysia.
That's good. So you find your paradise, people and females in the same field from your country. So they support. That's perfect.
Yes. So, but then I had friends also in chemical engineering. There were other girls also from, of course, the Americans, black, and there were also black Americans that I was working with in my project. So, you know, yeah, it turned out that none of the professors ever said anything that is discouraging. So yeah,
So
so
that's
the challenge was more of the inner challenge of facing very tough material that, you know, when you do research and all that, the writing part. So it was always those kinds of challenges. But I was fortunate because I did not face any of the gender bias when I was studying, even though perhaps there were, but then I'm the kind where I will just ignore any of the negative things because there are other positive things to look for, and I'm just too busy trying to reach my goal. So I said, okay, never mind, just because I was studying in the South, in the deep South of the US, in Alabama, of all places. Yeah, yes.
You know, like
I mean,
Khairia, I like the quote of you that you mentioned, that you don't look for negative, you always look for positive, and this is very important. And I believe also because you penetrate this field, we don't have time to focus in negative. We always focus in positive, and we always see the challenges as opportunities. So
yeah.
I like that word from you. Really, it's amazing because I believe in this also. But
Yeah.
from my side, I feel I faces some some difficulty, some bias. For example, I wrote this in my book. Let me read what I wrote in my book about my classmates. They were very friendly, but I don't think I really had their respect until I got the top marks for our first exam. Once people see what you are capable of academically, they quickly change their attitude toward you. They respect you because you have a great mind. But for this, to achieve this, I put a lot of double effort to prove myself with them. As for some of lectures, I am sad to say I had some unpleasant experience. Many of them didn't like women being educated and would often ignore me in the class. This happened to me when I ask questions or try to participate because I'm lady. They don't like females in this field because most of them are unfortunately didn't believe in women in the field of work, not only in the STEM field. There was even one incident where my academic supervisor tried to hide some essential software needed for our course and give it to all the male students, and for me they didn't give this one. And this is really make me feel very sad. But as you mentioned, I look for the positive side and I insist to find the software, and I work and I get in his subject the first degree and be the alpha in his also subject. But after that, I found support from all of my colleagues and my teachers and my lecturers. They always support me, and subhanallah, once you go and prove yourself, everyone will try to collaborate and help you. And this is the one of my bad experience during the college.
Yeah. So, ladies, we have a few questions and comments. Should we start with them, or would you want to go on for a while? We can start with them.
Can take questions. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start with the first one. This is to Garda. How important was it to have your mom pave the way for women in STEM for you? Do you agree that having representation matters? Had you not had her instill perseverance in you, do you think you would still pursue STEM?
So you ask about my mother, right?
Correct. Absolutely. About your mother, what
role
do you have?
Role model.
Yeah.
Yes, she was an amazing role model. You know why, Professor Krishna? Because she always happy, as Khairia mentioned. She always see the positive as a negative as a positive issue, opportunities. She don't have any fighting with anyone because she don't have time. She always reading. She always explain for us the physics. So I feel that she is always happy. And even she passed away about 65 years old. She was very young. She she go outside always. She never complain from anything. So she gave me a role model that woman in this field, she will be always young, will be always have a great mind. Everyone will love her because when you sit with her every time, you will hear a new information, a new thing. So I believe she gave me a very good power to go for this field. Until today, I remember every word about she mentioned about physics, about science, about the mind. about helping community. She always talk about this. She's tell me when I say I've fed up from this, it's very difficult. She tell me, no, it's not difficult. Every level, when you get succeeded, the level will be difficult because you go for the higher and the higher. And this is the life. You have to, it's like game. When you play game, it's like this. So play the game and enjoy the journey. So I love what she's thinking about.
Excellent. Okay, the next comment is from Ezika. Yeah, this is for, can you hear me? Next one is for Professor Yusuf. I'm glad to have you here. I completed a PhD.
You are with us?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me, right? Okay. So I've completed a PhD in technical, but now transitioning to engineering education research, and I love it. Though I'm struggling with the social science research methods and writing language, any hints for smooth transition?
Oh, Radha mentioned this, Professor Radha mentioned this also in her chapter. It's always about having a community with you, working with those from other fields. So I work a lot with others from the School of Education. I learn a lot from them. We discussed on the kind of research that we can do. So they learn about engineering from me. I identify the important issues, and we will stream to which area of education that we have to focus on and the theories. So they will help me to identify the theories and the articles that I should be reading. So through my reading, I will discuss with them again, and it makes it so much fun, rather than me thinking that, oh my goodness, what is this article talking about? Because all of these big words in the social science articles, and that seems to go round and round and round and not get to the point. So anyway, the fact that I think that really helped me to understand engineering education research, and how to apply education research to engineering, is because I'm able to have the opportunity to work with those from the field of education. And you need to find those who are not afraid to help those in engineering to learn. So I have most of those that I work with. Initially, it's somebody from science education. I have 2 or 3 of them from physics education, from chemistry education. And now I'm beginning to work with those from the foundation education, from education psychology and philosophy. So it's quite a journey. It's like Gada was saying, everything is difficult. It gets more and more difficult, but then it gets more fun because you get to the depth of it. So don't give up. Look for a community, because it's really invigorating when you have a community. Don't work alone. Yeah.
Okay. I really love the way the both of you are laughing and smiling and enjoying yourselves while you're making your comments. And these are serious topics that you're talking about, and I'm glad you're really enjoying it and sharing it with us. This is from Dora Smith. Professor Garda, I was moved by the comment in your chapter that a professor gave software to the male students, but not to you. This speaks to the need for more ubiquitous access to technology. Can you share advice on what we need to do today to better support female students stay in engineering through school and career? I also loved that you said in your chapter about engineering and femininity are not usually exclusive. It's not usually exclusive. If you want to share more on this topic.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean, yes, as you mentioned, it's 2 challenges. One for the female, it's herself, how you improve yourself, how you improve and prove yourself. Improve yourself, always read a new technology, always take courses, because you will never stop learning, especially with this 4th industrial revolutions. Every day the technologies change in field. So you have to every day learn. When you learn, and try to learn and apply what you're learning in solving some problems in the community, because once you solve a problem in the community, you will be important, and no one look at you as from gender point of view. They will look you as a mind. So if you can focus on your talent and read every day, and especially you have good opportunity nowadays. Yani in our days, we don't have this technology. We don't have this course online. It's open for everyone, or YouTube. Now you can learn whatever you want in the online. So you can learn this one. Don't stick with you have to take this certificate or something like that. Focus on your learning, through learning about the technology. Then see the problems around yourself and focus on this. This is from your side. Learn. From the community should know that if there is a female in the top leader of the companies or top leader in the government who will take care about other ladies in the STEM field, this will be important. Also, we need to focus in the media about the role model. Always the role model, go for the people who singing, who dancing, and this is good. We don't, but we need something in science. We need to show them how science will be benefit for them from the economical issue or the family issue, or also to be happy. So the media also very important. The other thing, any one of us succeed should speak about this, should make also help other peoples, because once you learn other people, you will gain more. As Khayriya mentioned now, and I love this, no one will succeed alone, never. Don't think that me and Khayriya, other ladies, succeed because she's alone. No, we have teamwork. We have a great teamwork work with us. We have a great family support us. We have community support us. We have challenges. Yes, we have challenges. We have problems. Yes, it's normal, and it's the life. Our ECG, if you see our ECG, the heart signals, it will be shooting and then steady state and then shooting and this is the life. So yeah,
I love
yes,
it. Right.
yeah.
So the next is from Shamim Nasser. She says, Mashallah, I'm enjoying listening to the two of you. I'm Shamim, a lecturer in electrical and electronics engineering in Kenya. I'm still new to lecturing, so this is very inspirational. Did you ever feel at any point in your academic career that you slowed down in terms of research due to family life? Example, when your children were younger. This is for both of you.
Khayriya, start.
The nice thing about being an academic staff is that you can plan your work. So yeah, I had some maternity leaves. So yeah, I had my well, two of my children were born when I was working. So I think actually three of them were born when I was in service. So I adjusted because knowing that I'm going to deliver my baby and I'm going to have a young baby who I will be breastfeeding, I adjusted the fact that, okay, I will need some time and adjust for the work where I can do reading. I can do the writing part. I can do the computing work at home on my own, even with my baby. So you can, that's the nice thing about being an academic, because you can adjust. As my children grew, I go to industry, work with those from industry, get data. I work a lot with simulations, modeling and simulation. So and then by that time I will have students. But then even though I have my students in the industry, I still have to go and see them. So you can adjust your time on when is it suitable for you to leave your family for 1 or 2 days. But my policy is always when my children were younger, if I were to go to a conference, I'll bring everyone. I will tell my husband, okay, I have a conference. This is an example. I have a conference in Thailand. Let's have a family vacation in Thailand. So we told our children's teachers, okay, we're going to bring all the children and they will not be in school for about 1 week. And then their teachers were fine because we told them. So we had a family vacation where I had a conference. So that was it.
I saw that, Khayriya, when you came to India and you came and had
Yes.
all these dosas, all you and your family, all the Indian food.
So, yeah, so, your family is yours. So I don't see the harm in it. And we are happier. And now they are, well, my children are all on, all grown. So yeah, so it was a good family bonding time. Well, over to you, Gada.
Yes,
Ghana?
this is the same thing, by the way. Yani from the beginning, you know, I get my first baby when I make the delivery. During I give the lecture in the university, I feel that the pain coming, and they take me with the ambulance to the hospital to make the baby, to get the baby. So it was really tough, but it was amazing. You know, once I born the first one when I was 21 years old, and the other one coming after when I was 22. It's come after each other, 9 months only between them. So it's come from subhanallah, from like that. So but I was feeling what I will do with them from the beginning. As Khairia mentioned, I took them with me during the lecture, and I pay for some seater to sit with me in the university just for these hours. During the hours also, when I do research, I sit with them and they speak. Even they don't understand what I'm talking about, they are very, very young. I talk about science, about technology. When I go conference, I took them with me. After 10 years, also after I finished the PhD, I took the PhD when I was 28 years old. I get twins. So it was crazy, you know, you have 4 kids and you like to work in the academic field, also in the business, but they always with me in everything. For that, they always could say the same thing, what I say to them about technology, about engineering. When we sit in the lunch or anything, they always speak about the new technologies. Look, mom, we found this. Look, mom, we did something new. So we have, a common language, because if I just talk about food, about home, especially the boys, they don't like this. They need to understand that you understand what the up to date for the technology. I believe it's journey and it's have challenge, yes, but connect your husband, your family, your father, your mother, everyone about what you are doing. Don't isolate yourself and say they will not understand me. No, explain your research. And I always mention to them, Einstein, our great scientist, mentioned if you are doing research and they explain it to the kids in 6 years old and he didn't understand, you didn't understand your work. So I do with this with my colleagues, my students, everyone speak about my research, and this make them feel they are responsible with me in the same thing that we are working in.
Great. We have 2 more questions and then we'll hand this over to Hans. The first one is for Dr. Khairia. When did you first experience gender bias? How did you react or respond to it? And how do you teach young women to combat it?
Okay. Like I said, I was in a girls' school. I think because I studied in the US, I started wearing hijab in the US. I was not covering my hair before that. But then, you realize you begin to find your identity as, when you're in the university. And yes, I think the bias, I don't know whether it's about gender or not, but I had some people shouting at me as I was walking outside the university. Yes, yes, I tend to put that out of my mind. And there was some not so nice experiences, but things happen.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
yes. So, but the thing is with my students, I use cooperative learning a lot. So it's about team working, letting them work in a team. And I will mix the girls with the boys. And in Malaysia, the girls like to work with girls. The boys also would prefer to work with boys. It's not like we were trying to segregate them on purpose, but if left to their own choices, they will not do work together. But I do mix them up, because I tell them at the workplace, this is what they will see. And they have to learn how to communicate professionally with each other. They have to learn how to behave professionally with each other. You cannot just suddenly be struck and so shy. There's a guy, I cannot speak. So yes, I actually guide them in the differences between the male and female, because the girls tend to want to always meet and have meetings. This is what the boys always say. And the boys would say, we don't need that many meetings. So I said, okay, now have the agenda and, professionally manage your project. And what are you going to do in your meetings? So getting them to tackle things from a professional point of view, which is something that they will do when they work, usually works very well. And, getting them to think about ethics, to develop empathy in them. So I think that is very important. And you know, ethics, being very professional, I have, you know, these are all very important things. Not that we have to instill, you know, even when they are in the first year. So I teach the first year students. In my introduction to engineering course, we were already talking about ethics and the proper way to behave as a professional.
Okay, one last question here, and then we'll have another question. This has to do with your religious faith. The question is, what role would you say your religious faith has played in your career? Question for both of you.
Okay. Khairia, start or me start?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Gada. Yeah.
Okay. For me, the religion gave me the support that, you know, when I go for more for religion, as Khairia mentioned, I didn't cover my hair from the beginning. It's just coming also same. Yani after I be 13 years old, I start thinking about religions, about what is going on. So when I start reading our religion in the right way, not in the people mentioned in the media, I found it's something, all the religions is coming for something to make people happy, to make you support people. So it reflects for me that I put my talent, that everyone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God give everyone talent, no one without talent. I don't believe there is anyone in this earth who don't have talent. So put your talent, educate well, and help people. This is the secret of happiness in the world. So my religion reflects that, give me the support to go forward, and also to support everyone. We have in Quran a surah called Man Ahyaha, that you should help anyone in the world, any creations. You should help anyone and support anyone. So I take the good thing that is coming in our religions, and any word that I feel that is not compatible. The people mentioned, not Quran. People some mention that you have to do something, and it's not true. All the holy religions coming just people to be happy. It's different from people. It's everyone who have its own beliefs, and you have to accept other people. Even me and my sister in the same home, everyone have its own beliefs. So you have to understand this and accept people and work with everyone to support other people's.
Okay, Khairia, up to you.
Okay. You know, somebody pointed out to me that in the Quran, there's always they will always talk about something, and then God will say, "Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin." So God loves those who do good, and then He doesn't say that He loves those who are good. He loves those who do good. So yes, so you know, it's important for us as because of the religion, we need to do good and not just be good ourselves. So the good has to be spread, and we have to do this. Yeah, so we have to do this.
Excellent point. Very nice point. Excellent point. I wish everybody in the world heard you. Heard what you just said.
So it's not enough to be just good. You're on your own. You're good. You have to spread it out. So it's about making a difference. You know, so it doesn't matter for me whether I will try to do good. It doesn't. You know, sometimes you can do good, maybe only one person will get it, but at least you're trying. You know, it's important to do your best. And for me, if I'm trying to do my best, God will help me and, you know, give the best. Inshallah.
On that note, Hans, over to you.
You know, I'm just so beautifully inspired, and also my tears are almost coming. Listen to both of you, and it means.
Is that why you're hiding from the camera?
No, I'm happy to put if it.
I mean, these ladies are not afraid to show their faces.
No, I'm just deeply impressed and honored to have these kinds of not only serious colleagues but also friends, that we're on a life journey together. And then just you asked me before this these awesome presentations, and my deepest thanks to both of you. How did this rising to the top idea come about? And I'm just very happy to share with you very personally, very briefly, how I was inspired by a special friend, sister, colleague, Tagba Musa in Sudan. And she has been part of the Global Engineering Deans community from Sudan. And when she was the only engineering dean in that country, I've had the chance to visit that country on numerous occasions when I worked and lived in Africa. And I've seen some of the complexities, the political, the war-torn realities. And so I reached out to Tagwa and I said, Tagwa, could you share with us, please, so I can share with the IFEES, IUCE, and GEDC community your journey? And she wrote a beautiful piece which we published in our global bulletin. And when I read that, I began connecting with some close friends that many of you know, and including, do you remember our Lueni Morel, for example, you know, who we honor per se. And I could mention Jenna Carpenter and Dawn, and also Dora Smith has been very, very supportive, and she's with us today. Stephanie Farrell, I can, Sarah Ayala, Ariella. So many I could mention, for example. So when I saw this and in consultation, is that let's bring together these experiences at a global level. So we wrote the first volume based on the successful article that Tagwa has written. She said, let's do the first volume of Rising to the Top, where 30 women leaders, engineers, both academia, including government, also the NGO community and the corporate world participated. And then a lot of wonderful feedback. We wrote the second one, again, reaching out globally. And my dear friend and colleague, Marlene Kanga, particularly was very helpful to introduce me to colleagues from parts of the world that didn't participate in the first volume. And then close friends, and Krishna knows deeply, and also our sister Sushma Kulkarni, you know what I mean? And of course, Tagwa and Debbie Blaine from South Africa, then they wrote, recently just came out a few months ago, the India and the Africa volume, for example. And in each of these complex environments, 33 co-authors. And now under the wonderful leadership, and it's just a joy. It's just, not just intellectually, I mean that very personally, emotionally, to be on this important journey together under the leadership of Gada and Khadija and also Tagwa, to work on the MENA Arab World book that Gada is leading that effort, and certainly also Southeast Asia under the able leadership of Khadija. So one of the things is to plant some seeds to let you know I'm working closely with our friend and brother Sunil in South Africa, in Cape Town. We will have a space there, whatever, to bring the co-authors of the 6 books together, personally, hopefully many, and online per se. And I just want to plant that seed, let you know as you think about joining us this November in special Cape Town. And this experience, this journey will continue. Any thoughts and ideas and suggestions of maybe for next year, 23, what would be another topic beyond what we've done so far? I would, in working closely, Daliti and Salma, I would really deeply value your suggestions on that. With that, peace be with you. I can't wait to be together, and this was really inspiring.
What a wonderful discussion. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Hans, for coming up with this idea. And
Thank
good
you.
night, good day, good afternoon. Be happy,
Peace be
everybody.
with you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Bye bye.
Assalamualaikum.